Somewhere in the forests of North America, there's an animal that can crack open a piece of bone frozen solid all winter like it's a stale cracker, then walk straight at a wolf, or even a bear 3 times its size, and make it back down. No metal claws, no healing factor, just an actual animal doing this for real, today. These are 9 animals with abilities that sound like they were ripped straight out of a comic book, and every single one of them is real. Let's start with the one whose name a certain superhero borrowed. The wolverine is, pound for pound, one of the strongest biters of any mammal alive. Its jaw can crack open bones that have been frozen solid through an entire winter, just to get at the marrow other predators left behind. And despite weighing less than a medium-sized dog, wolverines have been documented standing their ground against wolves, and even bears, over a kill, refusing to back down from animals many times their size. The comic book version needed adamantium claws. This one just needed strong jaws and zero sense of self-preservation. The naked mole rat is basically immune to a kind of pain that would have you screaming. Acid burns and the sting of capsaicin, the chemical that makes chili peppers spicy, barely register, because its skin is missing a key signal that normally carries that pain to the brain. It gets stranger. When oxygen runs low, a naked mole rat can switch its body over to burning fructose instead, the same trick plants use, letting it survive close to 20 minutes with almost no oxygen at all. A healing factor would honestly be redundant at that point. The Tasmanian devil looks like an angry house cat, but pound for pound, it has one of the strongest bites of any living mammal. That bite is strong enough to crush bone, including skulls, which matters because Tasmanian devils don't just eat the soft parts of a carcass, they eat almost the entire thing, bones, fur, and all, leaving very little behind. In the wild that's actually useful, cleaning up carcasses before disease can spread. In a comic book, that's just called a villain's signature move. A polar bear looks like it's covered in brilliant white fur, but underneath, its skin is jet black. Each individual hair is actually clear and hollow, like a tiny glass tube, and scientists think these tubes help funnel sunlight down to that dark skin to help the bear stay warm in brutal Arctic cold. So that pure white coat isn't white at all, it's basically a transparent solar panel made of hair. Even its camouflage is secretly doing a second job. The bullet ant earned its name for a reason. Its sting is ranked among the most painful insect stings on the planet, often compared to actually being shot, which is exactly where the name comes from. The pain doesn't fade fast either. Waves of burning and throbbing can last up to 24 hours from a single sting. In parts of the Amazon, some communities even weave gloves lined with hundreds of live bullet ants and wear them as part of a coming-of-age test. An actual gunshot wound would honestly be over sooner. A wild poison dart frog can carry enough toxin in its skin to be lethal to several adult humans, just from handling it. But here's the twist, the frog doesn't make that toxin itself, it comes from the specific ants and mites it eats in the wild. Raise that exact same frog in captivity on a different diet, and it grows up completely harmless, with no toxin at all. So the deadliest part of this animal was never really the animal. It was the menu. When a tiger roars, you don't just hear it, you feel it. Part of a tiger's roar sits in the infrasound range, frequencies low enough that humans don't fully hear them, we feel them instead, as a vibration in our chest. Some researchers think this low rumble can briefly startle or freeze prey animals in place, giving the tiger a split-second edge before it even moves. So a tiger's roar isn't really just a sound, it's closer to a weapon you feel before you understand what's happening. A pufferfish carries a toxin called tetrodotoxin that has no known antidote, and in the right dose, it's far more lethal than cyanide. And yet, specially licensed chefs in Japan legally prepare pufferfish, known as fugu, as a delicacy, slicing it precisely enough to leave just a trace of that toxin for a faint tingling sensation. Get that cut even slightly wrong, and the dish becomes someone's last meal. Somehow, that's considered fine dining. A worker honeybee will, quite literally, work itself to death. Over roughly 5 to 6 weeks, it flies so much gathering nectar and pollen that its wings physically wear down and shred, until it simply can't fly anymore and dies of exhaustion. Over that short lifetime, a single bee can rack up enough flying distance to be roughly equivalent to circling the entire planet. No training montage, no days off, just non-stop work until there's nothing left to give. That's 9 animals that all have something most superheroes would envy. A bite that outcrushes a comic book villain's, skin with its own built-in solar panel, a sting that rivals a gunshot, and a worker who never clocks out. None of it is fiction. It's all just biology, doing what biology does. If you want more of these, hit subscribe, because we post a brand new one of these every single day, and you don't want to miss tomorrow's. Out of these 9, which one would you actually want as your own superpower? Tell us in the comments, we're reading every single one.